Yeah. Here we go. Do-do-do. It's so funny. Oh, it's so funny when um, in our household at the moment is when you got the computer running at the same time with the phone. We got a mobile phone, so when people contact us, like guests and stuff, they contact our phone, and my wife had to put all the guests into the phone and everything. So when we get guests ringing us or contacting us, it goes right onto the phone and it starts making a noise. And it's really a loud noise. And when we get fed up with it, when I go to bed night times, it's still going on, and I'm thinking, you know,
Wow.
you just be
That is the
quiet.
price of success, really, isn't it? That's the price of
Well,
engagement.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, guys, before we start, don't forget, thank you very much for all the sponsorship. Um, we are still looking for some more sponsors and to keep us still going. Don't forget, it costs a lot of money to keep things like this going. Do you know that? It's unbelievable. Website and everything else like that. So, thank you guys so far for what you've done. It's really, really good. And also, we are now around about 76 in the charts. It's like top of the pops, isn't it?
Amazing.
Amazing. We were around about like 300 and something. So thank you guys for everything. Really do. Really, really good. And also, don't forget, if you've got any messages, leave it in the right hand column and I will answer all your messages. Also, on my radio station, it's happening right now. We've got Beth Penfold here, and she's going to talk about, is it abuse today?
A bit more lovely abuse, yeah, but more about avoiding abuse in the future.
Ah, right. Okay. So there you go. That's so she'll be back in a minute, in 2 minutes for that. Also, don't forget, tonight we've got some more shows on for tonight too. And thank you very much for taking part. And we're just waiting to get switched over, guys, on the radio, and we are set. Okay, Beth. Good afternoon. How are you? You all right?
I'm pretty good, thanks. Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
I'm all right. Just got my lockdown here. Needs sorting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
every time I brush it, it just it's mad at the moment, isn't it?
it is. I think we're all so tired of it, but I think we're hopefully nearly there. So fingers crossed.
Yes. Every time I see you, you look so lovely.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Anyway, okay. So Beth, tell me what you want to talk to me today, then.
Well, I just wanted to continue kind of what I was saying last time. Obviously, this show's all about the possibility that by sharing, hard stuff that we've been through, we might be able to help someone else. So I was talking last time about the fact that I was in a domestic abuse relationship for 7 years and managed to extricate myself from that. And I went on to get married. I met the person who became my husband at 24. And we had a really nice marriage, lovely kids and everything. For various reasons, nothing dramatic. It's kind of come to an end. And we decided in the beginning of 2019 to get divorced. It's all amicable and things. It's all good. But so about a year or so ago, I started dating again. Now,
Hey.
The dating game is there's movies about it, there's songs about it. It's just like a massive iconic thing, and of course it's a really important life process. You are selecting a partner to share your life with, to be close with, to be vulnerable with, all of those sorts of things. So it's a really big deal, and so it's fair enough that there's so much talked about it. And of course we've just had Valentine's Day, which can be a mixed day for many people depending on where they are in their romantic lives. Now, the thing is that the dating conventions, and if you think about the sort of, I call it the Disney model of romance, you fall in love and live happy ever after, and he's a strong provider and she's all beautiful and stuff. That is kind of a traditional setup where women in particular tend to feel that they have to be the one that's good enough to sort of deserve to be loved. They're like the object that's being pursued or not by the hero, as it were. Now, the thing is that this kind of mentality, this kind of mindset, is also something that abuse survivors of any gender also experience. And sadly, people can be extremely courageous and get themselves out of one abusive relationship only to end up down the road in another abusive relationship. And the reason for that is that they haven't changed their dating mindset and their dating strategy. So they're basically, was it Freud who said the definition of madness is to repeat things the same way but expect a different outcome? So it's that kind of thing. So it's really something that abuse survivors need, proper support for. Is, absolutely, of course, you go to therapy, you go and see a professional to help heal the damage that the abuse has caused. But then you find it can pop up later. So what happened with me was I did all my healing within, a very nice, healthy, calm marriage. And often when you are tackling a problem, it's like a context. So you want to do something about your career, or you want to give up smoking, or you want to lose weight, or you want to find love. But so what I was doing was, healing some damage and building self-confidence. So obviously I fed that out to everything that was going on in my life at the time. But what I wasn't doing while I was happily married, obviously, was dating. So at the beginning of, towards the end of 2019, when I started trying to date again, I had the whole mindset of that abused, damaged 24-year-old woman.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny, because this is the work you do with your mind, is like, you can heal so much, and then something comes up out of the past, in a different context, and suddenly you find those old thoughts popping up, those old sort of low self-esteem, toxic thoughts about yourself. And, as I say, this can be a real pitfall for people who want to try and find a healthy relationship, having had an unhealthy relationship. So I guess I just wanted to sort of, share some tips on that, because, if I do this stuff for a living. I've worked on myself for years, and yet I was still having stupid thoughts like, am I too fat to find somebody? Am I too old to find someone? Are they going to have to be dating a single? I know, right? But this is just like the drama that your head creates, when really what's going on is the message you're giving yourself is, you're not good enough. You're not good enough to date. Now, I know I'm good enough for me. I love myself. I know I'm good enough to run a business, good enough to be a mum, good enough to be a friend, good enough to be a coach. I know I am. But just for some reason in this context, it was like, oh, hang on, am I good enough to again? So you just have to do a little bit of extra work when a new situation, a new context comes up.
Look, I am well known for speaking my mind.
Yes, good for you.
The papers don't like it, but tough. But this is what I'm going to tell you. Number one, you be yourself. You're beautiful anyway. Okay, so it doesn't matter what people think. You go and do what you want to do. And at the end of the day, your husband who kind enough, like, I don't know, going off somewhere, I don't know, and that's his loss, you know. And you got a gain. So you go out there and you meet somebody who you want, and the person that who loves you too. And at the end of the day, you've got children, you've got your own business, you've got everything going for you. and don't let the past get on top of you, because at the end of the day, you know, the trouble is when you got the past on top of you, and it's all good in your head and everything, you're thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Nobody loves me. I'm a failure in life, and all this rubbish. And I know where you're getting at. I've been there. You know, I've spoken to people about it. And the trouble is, at the end of the day, you're a human being. We all make mistakes. But you know what? Your husband or your ex-husband has gone. He's gone. I don't know where he's gone. He's probably gone to South America in the jungle somewhere. I do not care, right? But for you, you got your children, you got everything about your life, and you go and date. You go and date and do what you want to do, not because everybody else. Don't please everybody. But see, the trouble is, you got to look after yourself before you look after everybody else. All right. So, so all I'll say is this: just look after yourself, and just tell your husband to go away, hide in a little hole, and if he wants to, I'll lend him the spade. Okay.
I thought you were going to speak your mind. No, thank you so much for all that lovely cheerleading. I really appreciate it. And you've pretty much done my act for me there. You're absolutely right. That's the key to it. Is when you're thinking about dating, the very first thing to think about is having a great relationship with yourself. It's making sure you love yourself. As RuPaul famously said, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else?
Anyone else? Yes.
So that's absolutely true. So you're absolutely right, Steve.
Yeah.
And so I basically just wanted to offer a few sort of tips, really, because there's quite a high percentage statistically. I think it's over 50% of people who've been in one abusive relationship go back to that relationship. And again, it's partly to do with, what I was talking about last time, the unconscious mind going, oh, this is nice and familiar. It may have made you really miserable and frightened all the time, but, it didn't kill you. So, yeah, let's go back and do that again. That works. So, before embarking, one, obviously go and get professional help to heal the damage from the abuse itself. And then two, which is a whole massive lifetime piece of work anyway, is developing the positive relationship with you, right? And then from that, it's then thinking, okay, so I'm great, I'm worth dating. What do I want? I'm going to be the prince who's hunting now. I'm going to be that person. And funnily enough, at the same time as I'm doing this, learning how to do a healthy dating thing, the universe, in its wisdom, has brought me quite a few coaching clients over the last few months.
Well, there you go.
Who've also got this. They're all beautiful, lovely, successful, fabulous women who are just dating one loser after another. And I must just say, I'm talking really in the context of abuse survivors, so men can get trapped in this problem as well. Yeah. But and it was damaging their self-esteem, and they were coming at it from the point of view of, I'm not sure I'm good enough. How do I make sure I'm good enough for a partner, right? And so the key to this is to love yourself and know that you're good enough for any partner, right?
Of course you are, yeah.
And also to get really clear on what you want. So the first thing kind of I did, and this is what I'm now doing with my clients and getting good results, is to spend some time loving yourself and getting to know your values. So what really drives you in life? What makes you get up and get out of bed in the morning, right? So if we were talking about you, Steve, you're all about, kindness and community and spreading the love and all that. And the thing is, then you need to think, well, if these are my values, which values is it really important that my partner shares? So it might be, for instance, values regarding politics or money or where you want to live or how many kids or whatever. But all of these values, like what's the most important thing in life? Is money the most important thing, or is it kindness? Is it community? Is it various things? So being really clear about what you want, and then kind of making like a shopping list almost of kind of things that are nice to have in a partner and things that you absolutely would need in order to have a fulfilling, healthy relationship. And this in itself is difficult because abuse survivors are coming from the point of view of almost just wanting another partner to kind of protect them from partners like they had
Mm,
before, and
mm,
they'll kind of accept anything really.
yeah, yeah,
Because they're just grateful to be loved because they've got low self-esteem, and B, they just really want to feel safe from that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
violence in the future. But unfortunately, it's that very kind of low self-esteem mindset that attracts the kind of people who are going to take
yeah,
advantage
yeah.
of that. And
Say, yeah.
sorry, go on.
Saying that, I was a long time, while back. I'm not going to tell you. I think it was around, I can't remember, about 15 years ago, probably. I met this beautiful, beautiful woman in, who I eventually got. I got married, and and I thought, oh, she'll never go for me. She'll never go for me. And I was at the table with her, and like we went out for a meal and everything, and I said, and a few times I said to her, "Do you fancy meeting up?" And she said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I will, yeah." And we were going on for a little while, and then I said to her, "Well, do you like me?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "You're funny." And what it is, the trouble is, and I was surprised. I thought, "Hey, I'm the ugly one, and she's beautiful." She was really, really nice. And and I said to her one day, I got on my bended knee in the theatre place, and I said, "Will you marry me?" No, and I thought, she'll go, "Oh, nah, no," but she didn't. And we went off on our honeymoon, and it was nice on the way back down on the motorway. Um, um, Down on the motorway, the car turned over, and she died. And the trouble is, yeah, yeah, and but the trouble is, in life, you know, we always we put ourselves down. We all put ourselves down. And the trouble is, I about 6 weeks after the funeral, I was sent some photos of my wife, and they said to me, "Did you know she was like a model and all this lot?" And I said, I was married to a model and all this lot. I was just laughing. And she said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, she was, yeah." She said she stopped all that because she didn't want to do that no more, and she did her other job. And I said, "Oh yeah," she told me she was leaving her other job, but she wouldn't tell me what it was. And what it was, she didn't want me to actually know because I'd be praising her up a lot. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you, and the trouble is and she always thought about other people, not about herself.
Yeah.
It was about her and what she'd done. And the trouble is, she said to me one day, she said, "Before I came into a relationship with you, Steve, I was beaten black and blue. This is the point. I was, and I kept on going back to him, kept on going back, and he beat me, and he beat me until the point that I had to leave because he was jealous. Because I'd never had another relationship with anybody else. But what I was doing, I was just going to the gym to keep myself fit because I was doing things like that, and and that was it. And she kind of like broke down and she said, "Look, what can I do?" I said, "Put it this way, you're not going to get beaten in this household." And that was it. And she kind of she accepted it, but it took her a long time to get somebody to cuddle her and to love her again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally relate to that. What an amazing story. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. But I thought I'd open up about it because I know there's people out there who's listening. And the trouble is, you're right. You're right. It doesn't matter who you are. You could meet somebody, the woman of your dreams or something like that, and things will happen. But the trouble is, it's kind of like you've got to stop putting yourself down and make yourself number one.
Yeah, you absolutely have. And the thing is that I've found that it actually makes for more authentic and honest dating because the traditional sort of low self-esteem viewpoint is that you have to kind of find out or guess what it is that this person wants, and then you have to try and meet it. You have to like sign up to their expectations, live up to their expectations. And the thing is that that's a completely unsustainable position. Over time, the mask will slip and you'll be you again, and so it's a position of confidence and self-esteem, but also really helpful to the people you're thinking about dating to be just really honest about what it is that you're looking for. And so being honest about what drives you in life, being honest about, literally doing kind of a shopping list, what would this person be like? What would they do for a living? How much would they work and how much would they be at home? And what would their sort of aspirations and values be like? And then the second thing is, and it's really important, because if you think about it, imagine if you went to Tesco's to get the shopping done, but you just didn't know what you wanted. So you just sort of stood there in the aisles and said, "Excuse me, love, can you just pass me a few items and I'll put them in my trolley and I'll just see if I like them." I mean, it's just pointless. You go into Tesco knowing what you want and you look for it, and sometimes it's not there, it's out of stock, and so you just go without and you get what you do what you can, you buy what is there and stuff. So you absolutely need a shopping list. And then basically being honest about, the sort of, questions that you want to ask, when you actually meet this person, or you're messaging or whatever, things in your bio that you can put if you're doing online dating about what you're looking for. The more information you can give someone else about what it is you're looking for, the more of a knowledgeable decision they can make about whether they think, "Oh yeah, I want to go forward with that," or whatever. Now, the slight downside with being honest and authentic is that not everybody is going to want to buy your wares. So the rejection is like a big fear that everybody has, not just if you've been used, but everybody has that. And there's very good reasons for that, going back to primeval times where, if you got rejected from the tribe, you'd literally just die of starvation in the plains. So the mindset I've got about that is, if I've been really honest about who I am and what I'm looking for, and the person that I've got my eye on isn't interested, then I've essentially saved myself a huge amount of wasted energy and focus and feeling trying to pretend to be something that person wants, and at the same time not having what I want.
But why change? Why change for? Why
Well,
change?
Why? You shouldn't change. You shouldn't
sorry. But Beth, what I'm trying to say, you're coming over to me as somebody who is, I don't know. It's like you're coming over to me saying, like, I want. Am I right?
No, so are you talking about the dating strategy? So it's just being clear on what you're looking for in a partner, right?
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So because the more clear you are, the more helpful that is to the other person.
Right. Okay.
Because and the more upfront and honest you are about that, the better. Whereas what women and abuse survivors traditionally do is, instead of saying what they would like, what they're looking for, they're trying to find out what the other person's looking for, and just kind of hopefully match up to that. But if not, kind of go, "Oh well, I could probably get into cycling or fishing, or he is a bit rude, but I could probably cope with that. I'm probably just being a bit fussy." People with low self-esteem, they try to bend to the other person, and that just isn't a healthy and sustainable position for either person in the relationship.
Okay, let me ask you some questions. Let me ask you some questions.
Sure.
Right. What are you looking for?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, come on. What are you looking for? So if a man came up to you, a nice gentleman come up to you now, and you met him, I don't know, a pub or something, and he sat down with you and he said, "Right, Beth, what are you looking for?"
Well, what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for the cherry on my already delicious cake of life, in that and this is the great thing about dating in your 50s in general, is that When you're dating in your 20s, you're kind of thinking about, oh, who will be the father of my kids? You
Yeah.
know, what are we both earning? Can we set up home together and all that sort of thing? Yeah. When you're in your 50s, you've got all that. You've had the kids, you've got your home, you've got your job and all that sort of thing. You've done all that bit. So, like, I'm really happy in my life. So I don't actually need a man for anything, but I just really like to have a man in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, why not? They're great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, romance is a
But you're
lovely.
not asking me. You're not answering the question.
Oh, yeah. Well, what I'm looking for is someone who essentially is into the same sort of things as me in terms of able to understand that thoughts are optional, that you can manage your own feelings and all that. There's so many profiles you come across, particularly of men who go, I don't do drama, I just want someone normal, I want someone to make me happy. Okay, so the thing is, drama is like feelings, and they do sort of happen. Drama happens
Mm.
in your life whether you like it or not. What is normal? Like, everybody has their own different version of normal. And if you want someone else to make you happy, you're on a hiding to nothing. Again, it comes back to how you feel in yourself. No
Mm.
other human being can make you happy, right? Let's say, you know, somebody really liked you, and you've said, "Oh, I don't really like you," and they've said, "Yeah, but okay, but if I put you in a room for 5 days and give you loads of chocolates and flowers, and take you out for dinner and all that, then you'll be happy, right?" No, because you're just not into that person. It's about your thoughts in your
Mm.
mind, right?
Mm.
And also, when you've had an argument with a partner and stuff, and you really are very sorry and you really want to make it up, and you sort of say, what can I say, how can I make this right? And even if they tell you, right, and you say it, they're still sometimes upset, right? And that's
Mm.
because they're still having their feelings, and you can't just say something that automatically flicks their switch. That's their property,
Mm.
their feelings. So no other person can make you happy. You can only make yourself happy and be happy around another person.
Mm.
So I want someone who kind of understands that I'm not there to make them happy. I'm there to be happy alongside them, to have an adventure with them, to understand them, to learn about them, to learn from them. All those sorts of things. It's very much someone to have an adventure with, I think. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
They
So
can pretty much come along and just be themselves, a bit like a pet cat, but not in a patronising way. But they don't have to be anything for me. They don't have to fulfill any requirements. You know what I mean? It's
okay.
just nice to have
So
company.
so if you're a pet cat, got 4 legs, and you live in the Essex area, let me know, or wherever you live. Um, you've got to be 6 foot. Um, you've got to have pink hair. You've got to wear yellow pajamas to bed. Let me know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let me know, and I will put you on to bed. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking.
Oh, thanks. Nice.
But no, the trouble is, see, when we are in relationships and we've been through a bad time, like abuse, as you've been saying, it is very difficult to get into another relationship sometimes because you're thinking, it's just going to happen all again to me,
Yeah.
and you're a bit weary. So how can somebody get over that and have a meaningful relationship?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. As I've just described, it's not a quick process, and the key to it is obviously going and seeing a professional first to heal the damage of the previous relationship, but then loving yourself and feeling confident, because then you're not in a position of need. People who say, "Oh, I need someone to make me complete," I need someone to make me happy. Other people can't really do that for you. You can only really do that for yourself. And it's only once you've got that mindset that you're not going to fall into the trap of accepting people who aren't healthy for you, people who aren't good enough for you, because you need to feel loved, you need to feel validated. You're better off on your own, because you're never really on your own. You've always got you. And if you love you, you're sorted.
Good. Let's answer some questions. Right. Okay. Here we go. Um, here we go. Roger Right, here we go. Hi, Steve. I'm a former perpetrator. Fortunately, I had to go and get out because after hitting my wife for a few years because of alcohol, I'm now recovered and not hit my wife. Me and my wife split it up for 6 years, and now we are back together again. She said to me, "Don't come back just for the kids. Come back because she loved me." We have now rekindled our relationship, and we both are very, very happy. What? How do I continue with the happiness? Because sometimes I run out and I feel so guilty of the past.
Hmm. Yeah. So it sounds like, I don't know what kind of professional help he's had, but it sounds like he needs to forgive himself. So if
Mm,
his wife has forgiven him, sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. And again, that boils down to your inner relationship with yourself, because there's still a toxic voice there going, you know, you were a bad person and that's why you behaved badly, and you will never escape that mantle. Whatever you do, it's never going to be enough. And it was probably those sorts of messages, perhaps in that person's childhood or something like that, that made them feel bad enough to start abusing in the first place. Because the whole
mm,
thing can be a cycle, can't it? So
mm,
I would maybe encourage him to get some more support on his self-esteem, on his self-love, because whatever you've done in the past, it's okay to love yourself. It's
yeah,
okay to forgive yourself. It's your responsibility to do that. And if you heal yourself and love yourself, you'll actually make everyone around you happier too.
thank you. Um, Tina wants to know. Hi, Steve. Thank you very much for this. This is really good. Beth's got a lot of knowledge and she's wonderful.
Thank you.
Um, could you? Would it be possible if I can have some advice? Yeah. Um, me and my husband has been going for separation for quite a while now. He doesn't love me, but I love him. It's all about abuse at the end. He never hit me. It was just kind of like shouting at me and also calling me different names, i.e., bitch, etc., etc. I can't come up with any other words because I'm not going to do that on here. But I will leave my email, and if I could speak to Beth, would it be possible? Um, well, Beth, names do hurt, don't they?
Of course, emotional abuse is recognised, you know, um, nationally as as a form of abuse, just like financial abuse. That's one of the newer ones.
Mm,
All of these ways, any way that another human being makes you feel less, makes you feel bad, in a systematic way, that is abuse. So,
mm,
I'm really sorry that you are struggling with that. And yeah, it sounds like you are right in the storm at the moment of the unconscious mind. So it's not been a happy relationship necessarily, but you're feeling a lot of love for him at the moment, perhaps, even though it's been bad. And it's because that, it's natural to want what you know.
mm,
But, there's every reason to expect that if you can go and get yourself some support, definitely go and get yourself some professional help after this and heal from this. But there's every reason to expect that there's something much better around the corner. And if you get the support to help you get there, you will find it. You'll be stronger. You definitely will. I've found, and all the abuse survivors I know, you're actually more resilient because you've survived it, because you've stood back up. And it makes you even more worth loving, is that you have that strength as well as all your other great qualities. If you do want to email me offline or anything, I'm very happy to chat and help if I can.
yeah, there you go. So if you contact me, I will pass it right on to Beth, okay? And with the email. Uh, Okay. We got to Trish. Hi, Steve. Thank you very much. Wonderful program. Congratulations on what you're doing. Beth is very knowledgeable and interesting to hear.
Thank you.
Would it be possible if I can find out some more information what Beth does?
Okay, yeah, sure. In a nutshell, I'm the change coach. So I help people deal with a change that they're going through. So, in a situation like this, it might be like a relationship breakup. It might be, getting out of or surviving in an abusive relationship, anything like that. Grief, loss, illness, redundancy, all these sorts of changes that happen. And also changes that you want to make. So, if you really want to give up smoking or have a healthier relationship with your body, find love, get a better job, all of these things bring up an awful lot of fear. And there's an awful lot you can do to manage that fear so you can get through the change successfully and have a happier life. I work with a lot of people who struggle with anxiety, a lot of people who are healing from abuse, a lot of people who just don't think they're good enough. And it's all about reprogramming that mindset so they can just get on and do what they really deserve to be able to do in life.
There you go. Beverly, I can't answer that one because not on here. Would it be possible if you can um, contact me with your phone number and I'll pass you on to somebody who is more kind of like qualified for that? Thank you very much for sharing it, but I myself can't deal with that. If you do need any help, you need to call the police, my darling. That's all I can say. Okay. Um, can one of the team? Sorry, Beth. Can one of the team help her, please? Right, right. Who else is it? Mel. Hi, Steve. Wonderful program. Thank you very much for what you're doing. It's very positive stuff. Um, how did Beth deal with her relationship? Are they still on talking terms, or is she told him to fling me up?
Is it I don't know which one she means, whether it was the abusive relationship or my marriage.
Oh, your
uh,
marriage.
oh, my marriage.
Mm.
Yes, we are still on speaking terms and things. It's fine, and we are pretty good at dealing with issues relating to the kids. We've decided to go down the mediation route, so not getting lawyers involved and things like that. Our focus really, most of all, is on trying to give the kids an easy ride and trying to do what's best for the kids. He's always been a wonderful dad, so no issues with access or anything like that. And yeah, what we really wanted to do was do a no fault divorce, but that got held up going through Parliament because of COVID. So what we've done instead is we've done like a 2-year separation, and then you can have a divorce without any sort of accusations or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I think what happened was essentially that when we got together, we were both damaged. We both had anxiety, and essentially what happened was that as I talk about a lot, I healed from all that, and he still has his anxiety. And sometimes, we tried Relate, we tried everything, but with the best will in the world, it's like giving up crack and then going back to the crack den. Sometimes, I've got to keep my healthy behaviours. I've got to stay well.
Of course, because you're a mum, didn't you? So.
Well, exactly, and I want to set a good example for my kids and stuff. And yeah, my ex just has a different view. It's a real shame actually, because I think a lot of men aren't able to access proper support for mental
Mm.
health issues. I think they suffer with the stigma thing even worse than
Yeah.
women do.
Yeah, they
And I
do.
feel bad for them. I think it's
Yeah.
really unfair for them,
Yeah,
for men.
we had somebody on the other day. We have got like a mental health men person now who's just joined us, and
Oh,
we're,
brilliant.
we're started doing support groups now on Facebook. And
Much
you know,
needed.
yeah, to help men, because at the end of the day, men go around acting big and thinking, oh, I'm all right, and they're afraid to cry and everything.
Yeah.
But and they said that women are more better than sharing to other women and everything. It's more easy. But I disagree with that sometimes, because sometimes women can find it very difficult too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's this is a sort of a patriarchal stereotype, which means that all genders suffer really, because
Mm,
women are seen as kind of able to communicate better. But as you say, that doesn't necessarily, it isn't necessarily like that for every single woman. That's a generalization, isn't it? And the same for men. Some men, there's been male support groups going in America and stuff for quite a long time, and they all like hug each other and stuff, and listen to each other's problems and everything. And I think that's a really good thing for men who feel they want to access that kind of thing. But I think even for men who've been socialized under the patriarchy, that it's a sign of weakness to go and get help. I really would love to find a way to help them access support.
There's a lot of women's support groups out there, isn't there?
Yeah,
You
and
know,
not
I've
men.
got somebody who comes on once a fortnight, and she says to me, and I joke around with her. I said to her, look, oh gosh, it's all women. You ain't got no men's. You should start a men's group. It's all women. And she said, well, I can't help that. I said, you can just get your act together and all this lot. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
she won't.
yeah, no, I get you. And I work mostly with women, but I did take the decision about 18 months ago to accept male clients as well, because the thing is that often the relationship problems that my clients come to me with, it's because of their relationship with the man that's the problem. And a lot of men's problems are to do with the way they've been
Mm,
socialized, and they're struggling as well. And by helping men, if I help that man heal something, and he then goes on to have a healthy relationship with another woman, or repair the relationship with the woman he's got, then I'm still helping women.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
all grist to the mill, isn't it? It's all good,
That's
to
it.
help
Yeah,
everyone.
that's a couple of questions, guys. Right, Rachel wants to. Hang on for a second. Let me go. Rachel wants to know. Hi, Steve and Beth. Good program. Thank you very much. Um, I've been in a relationship now for only 2 years. We're thinking about getting divorced. We're not getting on. We never got on much before we got married. It was all down to having children, and we thought we'd get married because of the children. Yeah, see, Beth, this is the trouble, isn't it? We always look to, I know we've got to put our children first in any relationship. I can understand that. But some people also like kind of like get married because they've got kids, they want to settle down, and they want to be like, I don't know, they just want a happy relationship, mum and dad. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and no judgment in this situation, really, because, as I was saying before, this is the Disney model. This is how we've all been socialized. This is what we've been taught to want,
Mm,
and it's quite common for people who are struggling in a relationship to suddenly get married and assume that the marriage is going to solve the problems, or then having a baby is going to solve the problems. And of course, it's only when you get married or have a baby you realize that actually it puts huge stress on a relationship, and actually can make things much harder unless you're pretty solid to start with. But this is the effect of this huge cultural norm that particularly for women, but for men as well, that you're only successful and valuable if you have a happy, successful marriage and kids. And of course, don't forget all the people who live in quiet desperation for years and years in unhappy relationships,
mm,
because
mm,
they feel ashamed of admitting some sort of failure and things, because it's not the norm, it's not the fairy tale. You've lost the game.
mm.
So no shame there. And I really hope, please, if you haven't already considered going to Relate, please consider that. There's lots of really good relationship support services out there. I'd recommend you access those first before letting it go. But if you both really feel that you've tried as hard as you can, then it's often the best thing to let go. See if you can do it gently and calmly, bearing your kids' welfare in mind. And yeah, then you can both move on to something new.
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you very much.
But just
Last.
to add, even if the marriage then fails in the end, if by going through relationship counselling, you've maybe learned things about yourself. This is what I've been saying in this session: is
Yeah.
habits you've got, you don't want them to carry on to the next relationship. So
Yeah.
get those sorted first, and then
Yeah.
move on.
Yep. Last question, guys. Right. Hi, Steve and Beth. Thank you very much. Um, my name's called Rob. I need to get help. How do I get help? I'm a perpetrator. I've been in my wife for quite a while. Um, and because of your recent programs, and especially this one, it's got it to me. I was on my hands and knees, kind of praying that I need help. Um, well, if you really, that all I can say to people is this: that when people come here and are asking for help, it's got to be 100%. Because what we do, Beth, is this: that we want people to actually be open with us and actually wanting the help. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because you know we don't want to give people help and next minute they're going to kind of like chuck it away down the drain. So if you're really, really needing help, please contact me, and we will get someone to contact you, and we will get you the help you require. We have got information about rehabs. I remember the latest because of the COVID, we can't do it, but I remember the last time before COVID, we had 87 people went into rehab. We had 42 people for alcohol, uh, 16 women for abuse, that were children put into care and everything. So we are trying our best. But the trouble is, you got to be really, really sure that you need the help. I can't kind of like come to you and say, look, you need help. You gotta kind of like make the decision yourself. And when you made that decision, you've got to be fully committed if you want to change. Beth, last words.
Just to all of you out there, the most important message of all is, this is all about kindness. And, the person you can be kindest to is yourself, as Steve was saying before. The healthier you are inside, the more you can give to others. So that's the best reason of all. But also, you deserve to be happy. So be kind to yourselves, and make sure that you are fully in love with yourself first before falling in love with somebody else.
That is true, guys. That is true. Sometimes before I go, sometimes it's difficult to fall in love. I know, but the trouble is, if you're not right with yourselves, you can't love other people until you're right with yourself. Thank you, Beth, and that was a really, really, really good.
Thank
I really enjoyed that,
you.
and thank you very much for out there. Don't forget to join me around about 7 o'clock tonight. We've got Shasha Shasha on. I can't say the name. Um, I think I need to get a drink. Also, and we got another person after that, and that's it. And thank you very much. So yeah, we got another two people to come. Then that would be for all right. Then there's three people to come. See what I mean about kind of like women. Not women. Sorry, I'm not part women. You know, ladies in your life. They are so special. So guys, if you're married, got a woman in your life, or you've got a partner, make sure you cherish them because if you don't, you lose them. Anyway, guys, goodbye and see you.
Bye. It was great.
Bye bye. There you go, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back 7 o'clock. Bye for now.